Everyone. I hope you had a great day. If you traded today, we're very successful. I'm going to be going over the S&P 500 E-mini futures for Wednesday, May 28th, as always. Like I always say, huge shout out to Al Brooks. His trading course will be down below. I'm trading his price action strategy. So if you want to delve more into this strategy and learn from the best, I would suggest signing up for the course below. And a huge, huge shout out to Troy H., my teacher, sensei, I could say, for teaching me this method. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be trading. We have a good day ahead of us. It was a very successful day, and I'm going to go through the trades that I made. And then there was one more trade that would have been very good, and I'll go through that once I get there. Um, as always, the purple lines, I actually wrote it out so it was a little easier for you guys. We have PDL, previous day low, for this purple line here, and previous day high for this purple line up here. And then we have the pre-market low, so the Globex low here, and this red line is the pre-market high right here. And then I will get into these other two lines once I get there. Um, to start off the day, um, there was a really good couple bars up, uh, already pushing past and testing the pre-market high, the Globex high. So I knew that, off the bat, it had already tested it. That wasn't something it was going to try to do later in the day. So that wasn't really anything I was thinking about anymore. And real quick, I'm going to try to make this fast as always. But then, I was waiting to see kind of what happened with this. It has one small micro gap. And if this would have kept on going, maybe created a 3-bar micro channel or a 4-bar micro channel, I would have been looking to scale in on the upside. But clearly, um, it's something that I was looking at, and why I didn't really like this trend in general was that the bar 77 and 78 from yesterday looked like one leg up. It already got its pullback on 79 and its second leg. So this kind of completed its second leg, and then it had a trend reversal. Clearly, bar 4 is a huge indicator of a lot of momentum going downwards. Huge micro gap. There's a tick gap to start it off, and then a massive micro gap. And this alone, just these two bars, are around 14 points. So with that kind of momentum, you would expect that there might be a little bit more downturn. But I was kind of trying to keep track and keep looking at the EMA. It's rejected the EMA on 4, but then it finally got its follow through and broke past the EMA on 5. And like I said, with this already 3-bar micro channel down with a massive micro gap, at this point, I think it was over 15, about 17.5 points down at its peak. I had the consensus that this was definitely going to go a whole lot lower and get a second leg. Might even try to test the pre-market low. That was my original hypothesis. So I entered in on 6. I had a buy order um, on the EMA because it kept on trying to pull back and it pushed down and pull back and push down. So I had a clear consensus that this was going to close below the EMA again, definitely after this strong momentum. And maybe I could have waited a little bit longer until 7, but I was pretty positive that 6 was going to close below the EMA. So my order got filled when it touched the EMA again. I got in there, and then we get in pullback failure on 7. And like I discussed yesterday, and I did really well, I've been working on scaling in. Once you enter a position and it's winning, buying more contracts and scaling in instead of what most people do, and most losing traders do, is they buy in and scale in when they are losing and down. So just like yesterday, I got a good enter on 6. It went lower, and then we kind of got the pullback, confirmation of pullback failure. It tries to pull back to the EMA, it rejects it again, closes with a pullback failure here. So I sold another contract on 7. And like I said yesterday as well, I'm trying to just keep um, the discipline of only scaling in once. There was a couple more times that I definitely could have scaled in, and I'll get into those, but I'm trying to keep the scales into a minimum so my risk reward can still be very adverse. So it gets this first leg down and a pullback on 7. I'm already in for 2 contracts. And at this point, I think I had a 11 to 1 risk reward ratio, which was stellar, going down to the pre-market low. Um, so I kind of just sat and was patient, let it rip down. It got the second leg, kind of some doji bars. I think 10 and 11 were great opportunities to scale in again. You kind of get these tries to pull back with a long wick till on the downward position, and it's kind of in this tight channel going down now. Um, so I think you could have scaled in again on 10 and 11 if you had an account size to enter more positions. Um, so it kind of gets 1 pullback, 2 weird dodgy pullback, and then a third leg down. And at this point, I had realized that it had 3 legs. It had 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3. Even though the 15-minute chart was only 1 leg, but you could have say that 4 is an implied pullback. You could even say that 3 on the 15-minute chart is an implied pullback. So I definitely thought that this was going to get a second leg, which it eventually does towards the end of the day. But with where I was at, 14, I knew it was going to try to test the pre-market low, but I just wasn't sure how long I was going to have to sit and wait. And 14 got to the point where I was up 30 points, so I went ahead and took profit at up 30 points, which is 3 times my daily goal. So it went 1, got in early on the first leg, got in on the pullback failure, 2, pullback, 3 legs pullback up to a really good margin, took profit there, and then it ended up trying to pull back again and failing, and then finally testing the pre-market Globex low, just like I hypothesized. At this point, I was up 30 points on the day, and yesterday I made some bad mental mistakes when I kept on trading after I had a great 20-point gain in the morning. So today I decided to go ahead and shut my computer, go to the gym, get some other work done, and then I would come back at the end of the day and talk to you guys about if there was any other trades I would have taken. And of course, I monitored it a bit, but as you can see, it kind of goes sideways for most of the rest of the day. So after this huge teardown, it kind of goes sideways, trying to test the EMA, kind of touching the pre-market low, trying to I thought the pre-market low, Globex low was kind of a magnet, kept on pushing through it, pushing back up, pushing through, pushing back up. But now we're clearly in a trading range, and it seems like it's kind of respecting this 59.15 area. As you can see, it keeps on trying to kind of pull down, get more momentum. And like I said, on the 15-minute chart, this still needs a second leg, but clearly it's respecting um, this down here. So it pushes back up through the EMA, and some people might argue that once 32 pushes through the EMA, and that once 33 has a pullback above the EMA as well, that you could have scaled in here, sat through a little bit of a loss, and then you could have scalped 5 points. You could have even went longer and made around 8 points. But you just got to think about the general market ideology. Sorry about that. I just messed that up. But you just got to think about the general market context of today. It's been a very bearish day. There's a lot of downward momentum. So do you really want to trade against the regime of the trend of today? I know that I didn't want to, and I definitely wouldn't have been interested in trying to go long here. So then it kind of tests the top of the trading range, tests this micro gap here, which I thought that was another reason I have these 2 green lines. I forgot to discuss these 2. They were micro gaps. There's a big micro gap over here, 39 from Tuesday, and a big micro gap on 78 from Tuesday. So I thought that this bear push down was going to try to fill those micro gaps, which it clearly did. And then you can see kind of the the bulls get a little bit momentum, maybe one, weird pullback two, deep pullback three, back up to where that micro gap was at. Maybe a new trading range here with a double top. When you see this double top with the general trend of today, could have definitely sold the double top and would have been able to make 10 points. Or you could have even waited till it broke the EMA on 48 and you could have scaled in for 5 points. Um, but then again, still kind of sketchy, not the clearest indicator trade. Then it kind of stays in this trading range. Double top goes back down, but reverses back up, still kind of going sideways. It's a deep push down, 63 through 65, but 65 has a long wick. Definitely a lot of bulls fighting back, and 66 pushes all the way back through the EMA, pushes through. People could make an argument that 66, 67, and 68 needs a second leg, definitely after it pushes and closes above the EMA twice. But again, I would just say look at the general market regime of the day. And, this is following, you could also say this is a 3 bar micro channel down as well. So I wouldn't be very eager, once again, to enter long on just um, the general outlook of today. And I thought the last trade that I would have entered, um, now with 66 through 68, I'd be very careful trying to go short here because this could still potentially get a second leg. But you get a 4 bar micro channel with 3 of the bars closing below the EMA. At this point, you would know that this definitely needs a second leg down, even though these are kind of some doji bars that aren't the greatest. But you could have sold the pullback once it tried to test and fail the EMA again on 73 and make 9 points. And then you could have scaled in again when it had this implied pullback failure on bar, what is that, 75. So you could have scaled in here and it pushes down. You'd probably be up. Um, I just had it up, but you'd be up around 9 points. And then it has a pullback failure here. You could have sold again, and you would have probably been able to make, with 2 contracts, 20, 30, yeah, even 40 points. But towards the end of the day, a little sketchy, definitely with how kind of up and down in trading range the rest of the day had been. But I think the 4 to 5 leg push down definitely was enough consensus that you could have hypothesized that this needed a second leg down, which it gets. One, pullback two, and you might even have an argument that tomorrow it's going to open with a third leg down, deep pullback, third leg down. Well, that was my quick analysis of today. The trades that I took, once again, was able to scale in, which I've been having success with recently, and had another opportunity to scale in towards the end of the day, but wasn't getting greedy. Thank you guys for watching if you made it to the end of the video. As always, Al Brooks' course will be down below. Shout out Troy H, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.